Once you hit 60, something quietly shifts in the world of air travel. A hidden layer of the system opens up, one that airlines, airports, and travel agencies have zero interest in telling you about. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on 11 travel rights that most senior passengers never hear about, never use, and never benefit from. Not because they don't qualify, but simply because nobody told them they existed. So here's the uncomfortable reality. These benefits are real. They're written into airline policies, airport procedures, and international travel regulations, but they're buried so deep in fine print and internal guidelines that the average traveler never stumbles across them. Airlines profit from that silence. Airports save on staffing costs because of it, and you end up paying more, waiting longer, and arriving exhausted when none of that had to happen. Here's what makes this even more frustrating. These rights aren't automatic. You won't receive them just because you qualify. You have to know about them, and then you have to ask. The travelers who walk away with better seats, fewer fees, and smoother journeys aren't necessarily the ones who paid the most. They're the ones who knew exactly what to say and when to say it. That's the difference between a stressful flight and one that actually feels comfortable. Knowledge, not money. Let's start with number 11, and this one sets the stage for everything else. Every major airport in the world has a layer of assistance services that never get announced. No signage points to them, nobody mentions them at check-in. But for travelers over 60, these services are available, often entirely free of charge, and they can completely transform the experience of moving through a busy terminal. We're talking about personal escorts from the check-in counter to the boarding gate, electric carts that save you from walking half a mile of terminal corridor, dedicated staff who handle your bags and guide you through security without the usual stress. None of this requires a medical certificate or proof of disability. It requires one sentence. Can I arrange senior assistance for my journey today? The moment those words leave your mouth, the whole machine shifts. Staff who said nothing before will suddenly spring into action. And if you don't ask, the offer never comes. Airports are quietly hoping you won't because providing these services costs them in staffing and resources. The system is designed to wait for you, so stop waiting for it to come to you. Number 10 involves seat selection, and this one surprises almost everyone. Most passengers assume that once they check in, the seating map is essentially frozen. But there's a window, typically between 3 and 5 hours before departure, when airlines run an internal reshuffle of their entire seat chart. Cancellations come through, connection passengers reroute, and suddenly seats that were marked unavailable all week become accessible. Here's the part airlines never publicize. Passengers over 60 are frequently prioritized during this reshuffle for front row spots, extra legroom seats, and preferred aisle positions. Not because the airline is feeling generous, but because their internal systems often flag senior travelers as ideal candidates for calmer seating zones. If you check in during that window and the stars align, you might find a far better seat available at no extra cost. Time your check-in well and let the algorithm work in your favor. Number 9 is about baggage fees, which drain hundreds of dollars from senior travelers every year, money that didn't have to be spent at all. Here's the truth. Numerous airlines, particularly across Europe and Asia, have senior baggage allowance provisions buried inside their conditions of carriage. These clauses allow passengers over 60 to carry additional weight or an extra bag without the standard fees. But you will never see this advertised. You won't find it on a comparison site. It exists quietly, waiting for someone who knows to ask. Before your next flight, go directly to the airline's official website and look for sections labeled Special Passenger Policy or Senior Travel Guidelines. If you find nothing there, call the airline directly. Travelers have saved $50 to over $100 on a single flight by asking one simple question at the check-in counter. The baggage policy exists. The airline simply prefers that you don't know it does. Number 8 focuses on priority boarding. You've watched families and elite members glide past the boarding queue while everyone else shuffles impatiently. What most travelers over 60 don't realize is that many airlines have an internal protocol allowing early boarding for senior passengers. But it only activates when you request it. There is no announcement, there is no label on your boarding pass. It exists entirely in the background. Walk up to the gate agent before the boarding call begins and say, "Do you offer priority boarding for senior passengers?" In most cases, your status can be changed on the spot. No fee, no special membership required. You board first, find your overhead space without stress, get settled before the rush, and the whole start of your flight feels completely different. The protocol is real. The invitation simply never comes unless you extend it yourself. Number 7 might be the one that surprises you most. We're going to talk about in-flight refreshments. Airlines have built an entire revenue model around charging for anything beyond the basics on shorter routes. The menu prices are visible. The assumption is that everything costs something, but there's an unspoken layer to this reality. Flight attendants on many carriers are given quiet discretion to offer complimentary items to senior passengers who make respectful requests. Coffee, tea, juice, a small snack. Internal crew surveys have repeatedly shown that when a passenger over 60 asks politely, the response is frequently a complimentary gesture. The magic phrase is simple: are there any special perks available for senior travelers today? That small shift in framing changes the entire dynamic. You're not demanding, you're inquiring. And the result is often a warmer, more human flight experience that costs you nothing. Number 6 takes us into discount territory. Here's one of the most persistent myths in modern travel. Booking through a comparison website guarantees you the lowest available price. It doesn't, especially when you're over 60. Comparison platforms like major booking engines pull standard fares from airline databases. They don't know your age. They can't apply a senior rate automatically, so they charge you the full amount while a cheaper option sits invisible in the background. Go directly to the airline's website, enter your date of birth when prompted, select the senior passenger option if it appears. On many carriers, discounts between 10 and 25% unlock, along with bonuses like flexible cancellation terms, complimentary seat selection, or waived fees on changes. European travel data suggests more than 70% of travelers eligible for senior pricing never receive it simply because they never activated that filter. The discount is there. The algorithm is just waiting for you to tell it who you are. Number 5 is about something most people experience with quiet frustration: gate delays, cancellations, missed connections. The standard response is to join the information line, wait your turn, and accept whatever the airline offers. But travelers over 60 are in a stronger position than they typically realize, and airlines are counting on them not knowing that. International aviation regulations entitle passengers to compensation when flights are delayed beyond certain thresholds, canceled without adequate notice, or cause missed connections. This includes full refunds, meal vouchers, hotel accommodation, and rebooking on the next available flight. But beyond the legal minimum, many airlines maintain internal senior welfare provisions that allow agents to offer priority rebooking, lounge access, or additional meal credits when a senior traveler calmly states their case. Approach the counter directly, identify yourself as a senior passenger, and clearly request the full range of compensation available. The tone of the conversation changes immediately. They know what the manual says. They were simply hoping you didn't. Number 4 is the last-minute upgrade window, and it's real. In the final minutes before boarding closes, the airline's seating chart experiences one more shift. Passengers who canceled late, connections that didn't make it, premium seats that went unsold, they all funnel into that final reshuffle. Gate agents gain a window of discretion where they can reassign these seats before the doors close. Senior travelers who approach the counter during this window and politely ask if any upgraded or extra legroom seats have become available are among the most likely to receive them. Not because of status, not because of money, but because of timing, approach, and a calm, respectful request. Available data from European airline reports suggest nearly 60% of travelers over 60 who ask this question at the gate walk away with a better seat. The window is short. The question takes 15 seconds. The result can change your entire flight. Number 3 covers something that most people assume doesn't apply to them: travel insurance exemptions and flexible fare conditions designed specifically for older passengers. Many airlines have fare classes that carry special flexibility terms for travelers over a certain age. These include the ability to change flights without the standard penalty fee, to cancel and receive a travel credit rather than losing the ticket value entirely, and in some cases, to rebook on a different route if your original option is disrupted. These terms are not prominently displayed. They often require you to explicitly select a senior fare category or request the flexibility clause at the time of booking. When purchasing your ticket, call the airline directly and ask whether a senior flexible fare is available for your route. The difference in terms can be enormous, especially for travelers whose plans occasionally need to change due to health or family circumstances. Number 2 is about medical equipment and mobility aids, a right that is genuinely protected by regulation, but frequently mishandled in practice. If you travel with any kind of medical device, mobility aid, or assistive equipment, you have the right to have it accommodated without it counting against your baggage allowance. This applies to walking frames, portable oxygen equipment, hearing aid batteries, CPAP machines, and a range of other devices. What airlines sometimes do is apply standard baggage rules by default, charging fees or creating complications at check-in. Knowing your rights in advance changes the interaction entirely. Before you fly, contact the airline to notify them of your equipment needs and explicitly reference the special assistance or medical equipment policy. Get confirmation in writing. When you arrive at the airport, you hold the documentation and the conversation is far easier. What often becomes a stressful ordeal at the counter becomes a smooth, pre-arranged process. And number one, the foundation that makes every single one of these rights accessible is understanding why they're hidden in the first place. This is not accidental. Every unclaimed discount, every unpaid compensation, every unused service represents direct revenue for the airline and cost savings for the airport. The business model quietly depends on passengers not knowing the full extent of what they're entitled to. These benefits were written into policy. They exist in internal manuals. Staff members know about them. The only thing standing between you and accessing them is whether you know to ask. The travelers who move through airports with ease, who get better seats, avoid unnecessary fees, and receive genuine assistance aren't wealthier or more privileged than you. They're simply informed. They walk into the airport knowing what to request, when to request it, and how to phrase it. That confidence changes everything about how staff respond. So here's your takeaway before your next flight. Research the airline's senior policy directly on their official website. Call the reservations line and ask specifically about senior fares, baggage provisions, and flexibility options. At check-in, request senior assistance and ask about boarding status. At the gate, inquire about available seating upgrades in the final window before boarding. And if anything goes wrong, don't accept the first response. State your case clearly, calmly, and with the knowledge that the policy you're referencing actually exists. You've spent a lifetime earning the right to travel comfortably. The system has quietly built provisions to support that. It just never planned on telling you about them. Now you know. Share this with someone who needs it, because the most powerful thing you can do with information like this is make sure it reaches the people who deserve to benefit from it most. And if you want more insider knowledge that the travel industry would prefer you never discovered, make sure you're subscribed, because the next video might change the way you see airports forever.